Shauna Bradshaw, Dr. Mom HD. Welcome once again. Today what we're going to talk about is timeouts. I have a lot of parents that come in and say, I've tried timeout, it doesn't work with my child, and I just don't know what to do. What are some other alternatives? So I start asking some questions about what you're actually doing when you're placing your child in timeout. Remember, timeout is for when the children are younger. It's basically a way of modifying their behaviors so that they will actually listen to what you have asked of them. So what I want you to do when you do a timeout with your child is to basically tell the child, you give them a warning. Bobby, if you continue to do this, you are going to go in timeout. Bobby continues to do this behavior that is not acceptable in your mind. And so what you do is, Bobby, I've warned you once, the next time I am not going to warn you again. Child misbehaves again, you put him in timeout. How you put him in timeout is you gently escort him to your either mat or a little chair or whatever, but it is away from any toys or anything else. It's where he can be viewed safely. But what you have to do is make sure that the surroundings doesn't have anything there for him to play with or throw or, do some damage to. So what you do is you place Bobby in timeout. You say, Bobby, you're in timeout. And timeout basically is for however old the child is, how many years the child is, you add 1 minute for every year that they have. So if Bobby's 3, he gets a 3-minute timeout. You set a timer so that he can actually see the timer or hear the timer, and that way he knows that he's almost finished his timeout. If he starts getting off, you start the timer up again and you continue to put him down. But the thing is, you have to be very careful not to talk to your child when he or she is in timeout. The reason you don't do that is you don't want to give them any reinforcement for what their behavior was. And what you're doing is you're actually reinforcing their negative behavior by talking to them when they're on their timeout. So what you want to do as a parent is make sure that you do not talk to them, you don't look at them, you just sort of, if they get up off of their chair or their mat, you gently place them back down and say, you're in timeout. That's it. You don't do anything else. When that timer goes off, there's 1 or 2 things that you can do. You can allow the child just to go back to the play. You can tell the child, I love you, but this will not happen again. And you can tell the child, or you can just tell the child, I think I deserve apology for the behaviors that you did. Again, it's reinforcing the idea that they were on that mat or that chair for whatever behavior it is. Once it is completed, though, you're done. That behavior is over with. You don't go back to any more punishments because of that behavior. Unless your child does that same behavior again. Then you follow through with the same routine. Parents get very frustrated with timeout because timeout can happen again and again. Eventually what it does is the child will say, no, I don't want to go in timeout, I don't get it, I don't like it. And they stop doing what's going to get them into that timeout. Not all children do that, but most children will understand that modification process and they don't want to go in timeout because it's wasting precious playtime with them. So I hope these tips helped with timeout, and I hope that when you use timeout, you're not talking to your child, you're explaining why they were in the timeout in the first place. Once it was done, you have a timer for them that's visible so they understand. You were silently putting them back into timeout or just basically saying you're in timeout and that's it. No I love you, no hugs, no cuddles, nothing like that. Their behavior deserved ramification, a discipline, as you will, and this is what you've chosen, so you don't coddle them afterwards or any of that. They may be upset, but that's the point. They were upset for their actions, and you know what? Yes, they have every right to be upset for their actions. You were upset too. So remember, these are some simple tips to get through your timeout, and I hope they work for you. I'm Shauna Bradshaw, Dr. Mom HD. I welcome you to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook, or shoot me off an email telling me what your thoughts and comments were, and I appreciate you watching this, so take care and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.